Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to Bamberg in Franconia in northern Bavaria in Germany once again, and going by the glass that I'm using today you guys have probably guessed which brewery it is that we're going to revisit. So for this one we're going to go back to Klosterbräu Bamberg and we're having a taste of the last of the beers in their range of 4. So for this one we're having a taste of the Bamberger Schwärzlau, which is a Schwarzbier coming in at 5% ABV, and it should be, quite interesting, this one. I've not reviewed a Schwarzbier in quite a little while for you on the channel, so very much looking forward to returning to this style. And as I've always told you, I really love German traditional beers, and it was very cool to actually be able to review this one for you because I actually reviewed the brown beer from these guys from Klosterbräu Bamberg, and then Sabine from the brewery sent me a box with all the other beers in it and some glasses and some mugs and things like that. So a huge thank you to Sabine from Klosterbräu Bamberg for making this review happen, and it's really cool to review what I think is my first Schwarzbier from the Franconia region, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, very much looking forward to this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews, then I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Klosterbräu Bamberg before. Hopefully they release some more beers in the future so I can return to them at some point, but there's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the German beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Klosterbräu Bamberg then. So Klosterbräu Bamberg is apparently the oldest of the breweries in the city of Bamberg, and it can be found in the Mühlenviertel, just a little bit to the south of that famous townhouse, if you like, the Rathaus as they call it, where the politicians are, but it's just a little bit to the south of that famous kind of old townhouse over the river, that very, very famous old and very pretty building. But the very first mention of this brewery comes from documents from the year 1333, and the official establishment of the brewery, however, though, came 200 years later in 1533, and this was the formation of the first Bischöfliches Braunbierhaus, basically the Archbishop's brown beer brewery. But the brewery remained in the ownership of the first bishop, the Archbishop, until 1790, and during this period there were 21 bishops who governed the bishopdom of Bamberg, and some of them were from very prominent families such as Schenk von Stauffenberg, Schönborn, Sensheim, and also the Ertal family as well. But from 1790 until 1851 the brewery moved between several private owners before it was purchased by Peter Braun, who was the son of a pharmacist and from Kitzingen, and then it began to pass down the generations of his family. Matthias took over in 1883, then Hans in 1911, another Matthias, the fourth generation, took over in 1963, and then in 1968 it passed to Anne Rosa Braun Schröder, and it was run by her and her husband. But in 2017 the brewery was sold to the Werner family, who had a long association with brewing, and the annual output of the brewery today is 4,000 hectolitres, and the current brewmaster is Christian Walder. Today they're producing 4 different beers. They've got the brown beer, they have the Keller beer as well, they've got this one, the Schwärzlau. Those are the 3 regulars from what I understand, and they've also got the Bock beer, which is introduced around the sort of October, November sort of time. So yeah, very, very small brewery, and as I always say, one of the very cool things about the German beer scene, if you like, is that they are very, very small kind of craft breweries basically. They're all the vast majority of them are family owned, and all of the members of the family have a different job within the family business. So it's actually really cool. I think it's, that's the same in Belgium. A lot of these breweries are quite small and family run units, so you can see where the Americans got the idea for these kind of craft breweries, if you like. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery for the moment. If you want to learn a little bit more, do check out the brewery website in the description below. I'll put their Facebook page and stuff in there for you as well, and you can have a little look at those. But let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself then. So as I mentioned earlier, this one is a 5% Schwarzbier. I don't get to review all that many of these actually. As I mentioned, I can't even remember what the last Schwarzbier that I reviewed was. It might have even been the Kostritzer, the very famous one that's very widely available. It might even have been that. But yeah, this one Really quite nicely presented, very similar to the other beers that I've had from this brewery before, just a different kind of colour of label basically. I think they all tend to be very, very similar. There you can see, here's the little top label. I always love this about German beers, that you have the little top labels, and of course this one is one of these pop tops, and you can see the Klosterbräu Bamberg symbol there as well. And yeah, it says on the back here, basically our Bamberger Schwärzlau is brewed from a 480-year-old brewing tradition of the Archbishop's Brown Beer House, and this malty black beer. It basically says, yeah, it's got a very nice kind of roastiness, but also a little bit of mildness to it as well. So yeah, should be a really interesting one, this. And it says here, you can actually see on the top here, it's basically saying, like, when it says Bamberg's ältest Braustätte, it's basically like, you know, Bamberg's oldest brew house, essentially, if you want. I'm not sure how exactly you would translate Stätte, but yeah. But yeah, really nicely presented beer, this one. So without further ado, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Nice little pop on the opening there, and we'll get it out and into the glass. So yeah, as you can see, and as you would kind of expect from a Schwarzbier, this one's pouring a very nice, dark, sort of ebony rosewood colour. I'm just being careful with this because the head is a little bit active on this, but I think it's going to just pour quite nicely. And I tell you something straight away from this beer, that's a good pour, I have to say. Pat myself on the back for that one. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see with this beer, it's poured a lovely dark ebony rosewood colour, and we can get rid of the brewery notes for this one just now. But as you can see, this beer has poured a lovely dark ebony kind of rosewood colour. If I hold it up to the light, it's not even got like a kind of Coca-Cola coloured edge to it or a chestnutty edge or anything. That one is pretty much pitch black. You've got a solid 2 fingers of a frothy, I would say kind of like mocha coloured head on this one, to be honest, you know. Very, very kind of light, sort of beigey colour. It's sort of creamy mocha beige sort of thing, like the colour that you would get from the head of a hot chocolate, something like that. But you know, overall, nothing overly surprising about this one in terms of its appearance when you think of it as a Schwarzbier. 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, overall, it does look pretty nice, I have to say. So let's take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on with it. So yeah, nice little bit of roasty black malt in there. Yeah, as you would expect, nice roasty black malt in there, but this one at the same time, it has that lovely German breadiness. I would suspect that these guys are using the Weimann malts, to be quite honest with you. I do wonder if there's a little bit of like the Carafa malt or something in here, just because of how smooth that roasty quality is. To me, there's definitely a little bit of chocolate in here. It does have a little bit of that to it. You've got roasty black malt in there too. A little bit of a kind of almost brown bready sort of thing. It does smell a little bit like a kind of like German rye bread. It does have that kind of vibe to it. Maybe there's a little touch of a biscuity sweetness as well, but it smells absolutely lovely. Very, very smooth, I have to say. Yeah, the aroma from this beer is really nice. I mean, you can pick up a little bit of the earthiness from the German noble hops, but it's got a little bit of a floral and grassy character to it as well. I'm trying to see if there's any kind of fruity notes to this one. You know, maybe there's a little touch of a very slight kind of candied red fruit ester, something like that, but that's very, very minimal. The main focus of the aroma of this beer is definitely those roasty black malts, and also a little, and just how smooth the whole thing is. Bready, brown bready, roasty black malts. Everything in this beer just goes together like very, very nicely. I like what they've I really do like what they've got with this one. So yeah, as I always say, take a little bit of time and just enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. But let's have a taste of this one now. This is my first Schwarzbier in quite a little while, actually. So this one is the Bamberger Schwärzlau from Klosterbräu Bamberg in Bamberger Franconia, Northern Bavaria, Germany. Once again, thank you to Sabine and the guys at Klosterbräu Bamberg for making this review happen. Let's get stuck in. Slange, Skål, Prost. That's nice. You know, it's a very, very easy to drink beer, that. And that's the thing, you know, this one, just my very first impression of this one, this could well be my favourite beer actually that I've had from them. I mean, the brown beer is really interesting. To me, the brown beer is maybe a little bit more like a kind of novelty beer, if you like, because it is like an old, it tastes like an old monastic German beer. It's got that kind of typically sort of chalky mouthfeel to it. It reminds me of some of the organic beers that I had in Heidelberg, actually, the organic monastery beers. The Keller beer is a nice kind of lighter, easy drinking beer. The Bock beer is a little bit stronger, of course, but I think for me, perhaps out of the 4 beers that I've had, I think this is the one that I, you know, quite like the most, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, it's these black lagers, because that's basically what it is. It is just a very, it's basically a black lager beer. You know, this one is just, it's really quite well done, I have to say. So thumbs up to the guys at Klosterbräu Bamberg for this one. You know, if you like the likes of Kostritzer and stuff like that, that's the, you know, that's the Schwarzbier that everyone knows, then you are going to quite enjoy this one. I think this is very well done, and it comes in, it's very subtle in the beginning, but this beer, it's got a lot of flavour. The flavour in this beer for me is really coming out more in the aftertaste actually, because it comes in, it's very, very easy to drink, but then you just get these darker flavours lingering on your tongue the further into the aftertaste you go. So it's a really interesting combination of things that's going on here, but I like what is going on with this beer. So yeah, let's try and break this down then. So in the middle of your palate, you can feel some of that roasty black malt just blanket in the middle of your tongue. On top of that, you start to get that brown bready quality that I was talking about. It's almost like a kind of well-fired bread crust, to be honest with you, but it does smooth out a little bit and just become something more akin to like a kind of nice German rye bread, something like that. But really this beer, the thing that I'm noticing about this one is just how smooth it is, and I really like that about it. Yeah. I was picking up some chocolatey sweetness in the aroma of this one. And you do get a little tiny bit of chocolate in this, but really not very much at all, to be honest with you. It's definitely more about the roasty black malts and the kind of well-fired bread crust and that brown bready quality that I was talking about. In the very centre of your palate, you pick up, there's a little bit of a bubble almost, and you get a little bit of a biscuity, very slightly caramelly sweetness out of this one, and that'll be what's covering the alcohol content in this beer. Just if you pay attention to the very centre of your palate, I think there's a little touch of a biscuity, slightly caramelly flavour coming out of this one, which works out, which is actually really nice in itself. But yeah, the malt base in this one, it definitely leans towards the roasty toasty side of things, and that's exactly what you would expect from the Schwarzbier. I mean, the Czech equivalent to this beer, of course, is the Tmavy. Some of the Tmavis can be even smoother than this and also slightly sweeter, but this one for me, it's got a little bit of the smoothness and a little touch of the sweetness in there, but it does, in terms of the Schwarzbier Tmavi kind of style, it really leans a little bit more towards the roasty toasty side of things. I really do wonder if they've used a little bit of carafa malt in this one. Because I think it's just got some of the flavours in there. It's almost got a little bit of a very smooth, the way that the roasty blackness comes out in this one is almost very, very smooth, and that's making me wonder if they have used a little bit of the carafa malt in there. But it's a very nice beer, this one, so if you like the style, if you like the Czech Tmavis and you like the German Schwarzbiers, this one I think is one that you are going to enjoy, and to me it comes across as being very, very smooth. It's subtle in the beginning, like I said, and the further into the aftertaste you go, you start to get more and more of the complexities out of this beer. It's not doing anything really unusual, if that makes sense, but it's just one of these beers that's very, very solid in the way it's brewed. You know, it's really... It just does what it does very, very well, and I think that's it. I think I probably would say that this is my favourite out of the beers I've reviewed from Klosterbräu Bamberg already. So yeah, hopefully they do a few others in the future. That would be interesting to see. But yeah, with this one then, on the hoppy side of things, back corners of the palate, you've got a nice little bit of earthiness there. Yeah. It's definitely German noble hops that's in here as well, and this is one of the things I always find interesting, because it's the English hops that give you that slightly darker earthiness that you might want to pair with these beers, but the German noble hops, they've always got a slightly sweeter and lighter earthiness, and definitely in this beer It's German hops. In the back corners of the palate you just get that light, almost slightly sweet earthiness there, but as you come further forward along the sides of your tongue, that just kind of, it just sort of fades out a little bit and it becomes a little bit more floral and aromatic towards the front corners of your palate. Then round the very front curve of the tongue it's just a little bit lighter and more grassy, I would say. Behind the front curve of the palate, of course, that's where you get that little oily bubble where some of those juicy fruity esters start to come out of the beer. And for me, there's not too much going on in the way of fruitiness in this beer. Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of that kind of typical grassy fruity ester out of this one, and there's also a little bit of there's a very slight kind of, you know, candied red fruit flavour to this one, almost very slightly figgy, almost a little bit just like a candied strawberry or something. If you think of those little heart-shaped sweets you get in Haribo Star Mix, those little ones, the sort of red fruity flavour you get out of this one reminds me a little bit of that. But I mean, overall, it's a very nice, easy drinking black beer, this one. You know, the Schwarzbier, the German Schwarzbier, the Czech Tmavy, the English Porter, light, easy drinking dark beers, I would say. And for me, this one, it doesn't do anything really surprising with the style, but it just does it very well, and that's, you know, that's what you want, to be honest. So yeah, as I said earlier, a big thumbs up to the guys at Klosterbräu Bamberg for this one. Within that Schwarzbier Tmavy sort of category, this one definitely leans a little bit more towards the roasty toasty side of things for me, so I really like what they've done with this beer. So yeah, just have a go at it for yourself and see what you think. But this one for me starts off quite subtle and you get more flavour out of it in the aftertaste. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say I think this beer is probably mid-bodied. Yeah, mid-bodied beer. Carbonation is very smooth in this one. It has that typical German Brauhaus smoothness, as I always call it. Probably the Germans that watch these videos laugh at that, but to me, German beer is always very smooth, and this beer definitely has that almost Brauhaus-like smoothness to it. The mouthfeel overall, as I say, very smooth, but it's got a little bit of wetness and a very slight oily quality to it. The malt base, as I say, leans towards the roasty toasty side of things, but it does have a little bit of sweetness and smoothness in it to balance it out. Nice little bit of hoppy bitterness. I would say you're looking somewhere around the kind of 25-30 IBUs in this beer, and of course you've got a little tiny touch of a juicy fruity quality to the beer as well. But overall, another very nice beer from the guys at Klosterbräu Bamberg, and it's been very cool to review the 4 other beers for you here on the channel. Again, thank you to Sabine for making that happen. But if I had to pick my favourite out of the 4, it probably would be this one actually. I don't know why, this one's just... it's just kind of struck me in a way that the other ones didn't quite. And I mean, there was nothing wrong with the other beers, right enough, and the brown beer is kind of a novelty beer, it's a monastic beer, it's the most kind of unusual, I would say, out of the range of 4 that they've got. But this is just one, I think, it could be that I've not, because I haven't reviewed a Schwarzbier in quite a little while, but this is just the one that struck me as being the one that I've enjoyed most out of the 4. Personal opinion, other people might disagree, beer is subjective, etc, but I think this is a very nice Schwarzbier, and it's very kind of light and easy to drink, which is what you would expect of the style. It doesn't do anything overly surprising, but it just does what it aims to do really quite well, and you can't ask for much more than that in my opinion. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. So this one is the Bamberger Schwärzlau from Klosterbräu Bamberg in Bamberg, Franconia, Northern Bavaria, Germany. It's been very cool to review these beers for you. Hopefully they produce some more different ones in the future, and I can review some more for you at some point then as well. And I'm sure I'll be back to visit my friend Daniel in Bamberg as well. A big shout out to him and his wife Johanna, and I'm sure I'll see them at some point soon too. But thank you again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Klosterbräu Bamberg as well, and do let me know what your favourite beers are from that Franconia region, or any other German beer recommendations that you got. I love reviewing German beer on the channel, and it's always cool to get suggestions from you guys. So until the next time, Slanger just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below, and make sure you check out my social media, and I'll catch you guys very soon. The Bamberger Schwärzlau from Klosterbräu in Bamberg in Franconia, Northern Bavaria, Germany. Slanger, Skull, Prost.